Hey folks, Joe here. It is Tuesday afternoon. I just did a shop video sort of update earlier today. I did the footage yesterday and just got it uploaded an hour or two ago. And while straightening up the shop over here last night, I came across all kinds of projects that I want to get going on, and we're going to talk about one of them right now. As a lot of you know, I've been heavily into the sea kayaking, canoeing all my life. This paddle here is the one that got me into the Greenland style kayak paddling many years ago, back in the late 1990s, back when I was in Moncton, New Brunswick, running a kayak club, the Atlantic Kayak Association. This paddle my dad built. He passed away last December, 3 days before Christmas. I really miss him. Anyways, this is a special paddle to me. It looks different now than when he gave it to me. I refinished it a couple times and I added the Stark stain to it. It is a laminated paddle, all softwood. And I thinned it down a little bit and sharpened the edges on it over the years. This is what I used the first time I set the speed record for circumnavigating British Columbia's Vancouver Island by Sea Kayak. It was broken a year later by Sean Morley, and I went back 2 years after that and set the record again. But this paddle, I'm going to do a quick refinish on it. Norman refinishing paddle, I would sand them down, take out any little nicks and stuff like this here. I don't know if that shows up. I would take that stuff out and just clean it all up. But for this one, I'm going to leave it looking more or less like it's looked for the last bunch of years. Just going to put a fresh coat of oil on it. Let me double check something here. There, make sure that's still on. It is. The front facing screen just goes blank after a while to save battery, that's all. Anyways, I'm just going to take a piece of steel wool, wrap it up, which is what you do before re-oiling the paddle. This is ultra fine steel wool. I dusted the paddle off earlier. It had a lot of dust been sitting out here for quite some time. I'm just going to rough it up real quick with a piece of steel wool. Doesn't take a lot. The paddle's in good shape. My dad must have made this one back around 1997 or 1998. I started using it in 1999. And when I first set the speed record for the Vancouver Island Sea Kayak circumnavigation, that was in 2007, which was less than a year before I moved here to Thunder Bay. And what I want to do with this paddle now, and this really came to me again last night, is I just want to clean it up a little bit, freshen it up, and then it's going in the house and it's going to get mounted on a wall, kind of as a display. The paddle has always been special to me. It became even more special to me last year when my dad passed away. He had a massive stroke in December on a Monday night. I found out about it the following morning on a Tuesday. Flew to Nova Scotia, got there late Thursday night. It was Thursday when I got the flight out. I got there late Thursday night, made it to the hospital about a half hour before he passed away. So this paddle is going up on a wall. Just gonna put a quick coat of oil on her, freshen her up like I said. Not worried about getting little scratches or dings out of this one. I have no intention of actually using this on the water, maybe once or twice a year, just a recreational paddle, thinking about my dad and stuff like that. Just kind of like a keepsake now for a lot of reasons. One, it's from my dad. Two, it's what got me into Greenland Paddles and eventually got me into building my own Greenland Paddles. I've built a few of them by now, probably 2,500 to 3,000 of them. And counting, still building them. So this paddle, we're just gonna let that sit for a bit. Putting the rag into a little mason jar, put the lid on it, keeps it from drying out. We're going to let that paddle sit for about 15-20 minutes, and we're going to take a clean cotton cloth like this and just rub it down, let her sit, and then it's ready to take in the house, and I'll find a place to mount it on the wall. I'll be back in about 15-20 minutes, rub that down, and we'll chat a little bit more. Don't go away. Hey folks, we're back. About 20 minutes has gone by, and now we're just going to rub that paddle down a little bit. And it'll be ready to take into the house and put up on display. Pull her over here. Got two cloths here. This keeps excess oil from getting on my hands and all that. So so I'm not getting in on a bunch of other stuff afterwards. Although as soon as I finish shooting this, I will go in the house, take the paddle in where it's going to be more or less dust free, and then I'll wash my hands and come on back out here and do some more stuff. So we just rub the excess oil off. It'll take a few days for the rest of it to fully dry. That's alright, this paddle's not going anywhere, so I won't be on the water with it this year. Maybe take it out for sort of a little ceremonial fun paddle next year to honor my dad and all that kind of stuff. We'll see. Right now I just want to get it out of the dusty shop, keep it from getting accidentally knocked around or bumped up any further. And have it in the house where it'll be just on display. So there we go. Give you a little bit of a look at it. Like I say, my dad built this paddle probably around 1997 or so. He probably built a couple dozen of them or so. He's also built a bunch of canoe paddles, mainly bench style. I think he's built probably 15 or 20 of those as well. We both used to use those back in the 80s when we first got into marathon canoe racing. That was a long time ago. So that's a little story on what got me into paddle building. It was my dad. My dad passed away, as I mentioned earlier, December 22nd of last year, 3 days before Christmas, back in Nova Scotia in my hometown of Amherst. I got to the hospital about a half hour before he passed away, so I'm thankful for that. And this paddle is also the one I used, like I mentioned earlier. First time I set the speed record for circumnavigating Vancouver Island. That was this paddle that my dad made, and it's what got me into using the Greenland style paddle, as well as building them, so there's a lot of sentiment wrapped up in that paddle. Anyways, just want to do a quick video on that. I'm going to set the paddle aside for now. 2 years later, I went back and set the speed record again after it had been broken the year after I did it. And this is the paddle I used for that one. Another Greenland paddle, laminated. This one's a little beat up. Definitely needs reconditioning. If I'm going to do some work on this one, I'll actually sand this one down a bit and tune it up fairly well. This paddle was a little bit heavier than it should have been. I was really busy building paddles for customers when I was getting ready to go back to Vancouver Island in 2010, the second time. And I never had time to actually build myself the paddle I wanted to use for that. It would have been just a slightly different length than this. It would have been non-shouldered instead of soft-shouldered, although I like the soft-shouldered paddles as well. There's a 3 3/4 inch blade width. I would have made mine 3.5, which is my preference. This was a special order for a customer. And it came in a couple ounces, 2 or 3 ounces heavier than what I promised him, so I gave him the option of taking it or waiting a couple weeks, and I built him another one. He waited, I built him another paddle, sent him that, he was happy with it. I ended up taking this one to Vancouver Island, and that's the one I used for the speed record the second time. And that time I did it in 16 days, 12 hours, and 14 minutes. That's about 1,150 kilometers, so that's at the speed record the second time. It has since been broken later on by Russell Henry, son of the founder of Current Designs Kayaks. He beat it by a good mark. There's been several attempts on it since, and nobody's beaten it yet. I almost went back a few years ago to try it again, but I talked myself out of it. Anyways, that's enough for now. If you want to see me do a more in-depth video on refinishing a paddle such as that one, let me know in the comments down below. And do the standard stuff. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You're awesome. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.